We'll always find a way to get what we want. She winks as if she just shared a very special secret with me and maneuvers her way around my body towards the front door. Out of instinct and anger, I grab her arm and yank her away from the door. My heart is pounding through my chest, my breathing is speeding up. I can't get past the pure anger and hurt my own daughter is stirring in me. Her voice and her words, they don't sound like my Allie. They sound like she's been possessed by a self-involved, arrogant, nasty monster of a girl. She's looking slightly down at me as she has grown past my height, my hand still wrapped around her forearm. She looks bored, tired, apathetic. I can't take it anymore. If you think you can disrespect me like an egotistical little bitch dressed up like a teenage hooker, you are encouraged to sleep in the car tonight. I'm seething. My breath is entering and exiting my chest raggedly without rhythm. My original irritation has escalated into full-on anger. Worst part is, I don't feel any remorse. At first, Allie simply looks at me. For just one moment, her face is blank and impenetrable. But before I can react, she rips her arm out of my grasp and begins to sob as she snatches her father's car keys off their hook by the door and runs out of the house. I exhale. I didn't realize I was holding my breath until I heard the car start. My first instinct is to chase after her since she's taking her father's car when she only has Alberta's permit. But by the time I gather myself, she's already gone. I kick the bottom step hard and don't even feel the pain. She is in so much trouble. And where the hell is my husband? Greg comes out a few minutes later, probably waiting for the yelling to end before showing himself, and sits down next to me on the bottom step. I'm just sitting there mindlessly pressing redial over and over again on the landline, trying in vain to get Allie to pick up her phone. The first few messages were threatening, but after the fourth call, I stopped leaving voicemails. I think I'm on call 13 now. She's not going to pick up, he says, putting his arm around me. I'm not in the mood. Nope. I shrug his arm off and stand up. What was that for? I'm pacing. You were no help at dinner tonight. Then you just went to bed and left me to deal with our 15-year-old daughter who has suddenly decided to run for the prestigious Brat of the Century award. I snap, ignoring the hurt puppy dog look he's shooting me. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, but she stole the goddamn car. It seems like you had it handled at dinner, he replies, sounding hurt. But I'm sick of him always playing the victim and forcing me to do all the parenting. And I'm sure she'll come back. We can't always be their friends, Greg, I try reasoning with him. I know you want to, and I do too, but that's not how parenting works. We have to discipline them and make them own up to their mistakes and disrespectful attitudes. I was trying to parent at dinner, but you stepped in. Only after you stared at Allie for several minutes without saying anything, what did you think a staring contest would accomplish? I already lost my patience earlier when Allie stole the car, so my tolerance is really running low. But what should we do now? We have a daughter without a license in a car we're probably going to need tomorrow. I'm aware of the predicament, dear. I snarl at the last word, and I don't even care right now. Okay, fine, sorry. Greg holds his hands up in defeat. I stand still and let myself think for a moment. I need to really punish her for what she's done. The fact that she stole the car hasn't even fully set in, and I know it will tomorrow, but I know I'm angry, and I know I have no patience left. I step over Greg's shoulder and I start walking upstairs towards the room. What are you doing? Greg whispers, trying not to wake Heather up. If she's going to wake up, she would have done so after hearing me scream at Allie and then snap at him. No point in whispering anymore. I'm taking something of hers, I reply in my normal speaking voice. You're what? I'm taking something of hers. What thing? He calls after me, but I don't answer. I'm not even sure myself. I march into her room that is absolutely covered in clothes and various items of trash. Her bed is completely unmade with mismatched floral sheets, and she also has a ton of dirty laundry on it. I see her backpack leaning up against the bottom of her bed, and it's obvious she hasn't taken anything out of it today. I scan the area for a moment, and my eyes land on her laptop on the desk next to her bed, and it's open with tons of blinking instant messages from all her friends. Bingo. This will hit her where it hurts. I walk towards the desk, close the laptop, and tuck it under my arm. I go back downstairs and place it in the bottom drawer of my dresser in my bedroom. She won't be getting her laptop back for a month, I say to Greg, who followed me into her room. But what about her doing homework? I shoot him a look. Okay? He sounds resigned. Are we going to call the police to look for her? No, I shake my head. If she's not back by tomorrow, we'll see what we do, but I highly doubt she won't be back. All right. I wait for him to disagree with me, but he doesn't. I'm going to make myself a snack. Do you want anything? No, I'm going to bed. Long night. I take a nightgown out of the drawer above the one I put the laptop Okay, good night then. I could hear Greg dragging his feet out of the room, but I'm still too angry and frustrated to do anything about that. I'll apologize in the morning, but he'll have to finally talk to me about being more assertive with the girls. I love him, I really do. I always have. I wish he weren't in such a mood because I can tell he wants to hold me and take care of me, but I can't do that right now. I'm too far gone. Once I'm in my nightgown and in bed, I roll over to my bedside table and open it. In it are tissues, a few photos of Heather and Allie growing up, watches that haven't ticked in years, and a bottle of prescription Ambien that Greg doesn't know I take each night. I pop one in my mouth and dry swallow it. Within minutes, I'm drifting into a dreamless sleep. Allie came home last night, Greg informs me once I make it to the dining table with my black coffee. Greg always puts half and half and 3 sugars in his. For me, coffee is just a way to caffeinate myself, so I don't care what it tastes like. But he won't drink it unless it's a treat. How late? I ask, sitting down across from him. I'm not positive, he says after a sip, which was obviously too hot since he pulled his mouth back quickly. All I know is that I heard her moving around up there this morning. I'm confused, I say after chugging down half my cup. I'm sure she's noticed her missing computer by now. Why hasn't she said anything? Maybe she's been too tired or worked up to notice, Greg offers, but I don't buy it. I shake my head. No, she's attached to that thing. She had to have noticed it. As if on cue, I hear Allie's bedroom door open and the sound of her soft feet slowly making their way down the stairs. I give Greg a look, but he just blinks down at his coffee. Coward. Mom? I hear my daughter's sleepy voice call from the bottom of the stairs. In the dining room, I answer in a tone that I hope sounded neither cold nor friendly. Not 2 moments later, she walks in, her hair a mess and makeup smudged all over her face. She doesn't look angry, just exhausted. Where's my computer? She finally asks after looking from me to her father a few times. You will not be using it for the rest of the month, I state firmly, trying to look into her eyes, but some of her blonde, massive hair is blocking part of her face. She doesn't say anything and just stands there for a few moments. Then, okay. Greg takes this moment to take out his phone from his robe pocket and fiddle around on it. I hope you understand just how unforgivably rude you were last night. She doesn't say anything, so I add. I know I said some mean things to you last night, and I am sorry for that. I should never speak that way to you. But you should also know better than to speak that way to me. Are we clear? She nods slowly, as if all the life was zapped out of her. I can't tell if she's acting this way because of her punishment or if something else is going on. Homework? She finally says, and I'm somewhat shocked at her homework as her first thought. You can do it at the library, I verify. At this, she nods again and turns to go backstairs. Excuse me, I call out after her, and she stops in her tracks. Don't you have something to say to me and your father? She turns around and tucks her hair behind her ears so we can see her face better. Not only is it smudged with last night's makeup, but it's also obvious she's been crying. I'm sorry for what I said and did last night. It won't happen again. She croaks out. She tries to give us an apologetic smile, but it just looks like her face is about to crack into 1,000 pieces. Thank you, Allie. Make sure you apologize to your sister, too. You really hurt her feelings, I say, trying to soften up a little bit after seeing that she isn't in the best place to be harshly scolded for much longer. I will. She turns towards the stairs and trudges back up them into her room. Once I hear her door close, I turn my attention back to Greg. What the hell was that? He looks at me with his head cocked to the side. What do you mean? Greg, our daughter acted like an undead. He just shrugs and says, I mean, you were punishing her. She was probably upset or embarrassed. I shake my head. It was something different than that. Sure, she's probably upset, but she didn't seem to take the punishment that poorly. I guess it was a little odd, Greg concedes. A little odd? Her only concern was getting homework done. That's more than a little odd. I swill down the rest of my coffee and get up to pour myself another cup. She has been acting out of character lately, Greg says in the dining room as I'm in the kitchen pouring lukewarm coffee into my mug. Yeah, I put the mug in the microwave for 30 seconds. You should keep an eye on this over the next few weeks. What should we do about it? Talk to her? Right now, just keep our eyes on it and figure it out as we go along, I say. Unsure if that's even the right way to deal with teenage moodiness. Damn, animals are so much easier to work with. Sometimes I think about what my life would be like if I decided to live out my life with a bunch of puppies instead of family. Are you sure? I take the coffee out of the microwave and walk back to the dining room. waiting for my response.